I have to go be a normal person now.
No. Wait. For years, I have said that content where people are just eating themselves to death in the name of the almighty mukbang should not be allowed on YouTube, or at the very least, they should not be able to make money off of these kinds of videos. I know. Hot take, going against the grain there. And finally, it seems like maybe, just maybe, YouTube is beginning to listen to me. That's right, I'm taking credit for this. Not really. Don't get mad. We like to have fun around here, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I think YouTube might finally be making a positive change, and I think they picked the funniest person that they could have to start with. For at least like a decade at this point, but probably longer, there's been a lot of pushback, there's been a lot of public criticism when it comes to YouTube allowing content that is inherently self-harmful for the creator. The most prominent example, and also the example we're talking about today, is mukbangs. You know, people being allowed to come onto this website and eat themselves into morbid obesity, all in the name of the mighty YouTube dollar. Now, obviously, there's a lot of different shit that falls under this category of like sacrificing your mind or your body for YouTube content. You know, I think that's why we have such a big problem with like lolcow culture these days, is because doing stuff like this is just so popular and normal. But I feel like mukbangs are definitely the most widespread, and it seems like YouTube is taking notice of that as well. Because recently, a popular weight loss YouTuber named Amberlynn Reid has had her channel demonetized for content that features acts of self-harm. And this is a pretty big deal because from what I can tell, this is the first time this has ever happened. Which is really kind of absurd considering not too long ago we had Nikocado Avocado shitting himself on camera and eating himself into fits of emotional panic. So I mean, really, this is kind of a big thing for YouTube. And on top of that, to me, honestly, it's a little bit confusing. Now I'm like halfway familiar with Amberlynn Reid's content because just over the years, a bunch of people have asked me to make videos on her. So I've checked out her channel probably a dozen times over the last 4 or 5 years. But to me, it just never really seemed like anything out of the ordinary, like especially compared to Nikocado at the time, back when I was really talking about mukbangers a lot. It just seemed like the exact shit he was doing, just a little bit less extreme. You know, pretending to go on weight loss journeys all the time, eating disgusting amounts of food. To me, she always just came across as a person who was trying to copy Nikocado, so I never really felt the need to make a video on her because it just felt like what Nikocado was doing, but less entertaining. With that being said, however, it just felt like Nikocado, but just less entertaining, so I'm kind of curious as to why Amberlynn, out of all people, is getting hit with this first. And when I say that I'm curious, I'm kind of lying because I'm pretty sure I know the exact reason. Amberlynn is one of those people whose audience is made up entirely of people who fucking hate her, so from what I can tell, her videos just started to get mass reported by people once they realized this would work, which resulted in a bunch of her videos getting taken down and eventually her channel being demonetized. And while this doesn't really seem to be a thing that YouTube is going out of their way to enforce, if it's put in front of their face 100 times, they're probably going to take action, and I think that's just what happened here. Unfortunately, I can't really confirm that for certain though, because after her channel was demonetized, Amberlynn completely wiped her channel. She removed every single video that she has ever uploaded, I guess to maybe try and get back into the YouTube partner program one day, because she probably wouldn't be allowed to, considering that the content that was on her channel is what got her removed from it. So I guess the thinking there is that removing the content will help her get back monetized, which I think historically is inaccurate. But after she wiped her channel, she posted a community post and then went live for about an hour. And just to get the full story, you know, form a well-rounded opinion, we're going to take a look at both of those things. We're not going to watch the entire live stream, just a couple moments, but there are a few things that I think are worth talking about here, so talk about them we shall. Let's begin. Please subscribe. So the community post reads, I took down all of my YouTube videos. It feels surreal even typing that. For the last 13 years, YouTube has been more than just a platform to me. It has been my life, my routine, my identity, my coping mechanism, my outlet, and honestly, my mirror. It shaped me in ways I'm still trying to understand. Some of those ways have been beautiful and some have been painful, but all of them have made me who I am today. I grew up on this platform my whole adulthood. I've laughed here, cried here, messed up here, learned here, healed here, and hurt here. I've made mistakes in front of thousands of people, but I've also been lifted up by thousands of people. That balance, the good and the bad, is something I'll always carry with me. Taking everything down wasn't easy, it wasn't impulsive, it was something I felt deep in my chest, like a chapter that needed to end so another one could finally begin. I don't know exactly what the future looks like yet, but I do know that I will always strive to be better and do better. To everyone who has watched me, supported me, encouraged me, or even just quietly checked in from time to time, thank you truly. Your presence in my life has mattered more than you probably realize. I just needed to take take a breath, reset, and figure out who I am outside of the noise. Thank you for being here for so long, and I hope in whatever comes next, you'll always remember me. Now, from an outsider's perspective, sort of peering into this community, at first, I feel like this comes across as pretty level-headed. Like you read this and you're like, I wonder why people don't like this woman so much. And then you start to dive into basically anything that is documented about this woman. And you're like, oh, okay, this is all bullshit, probably just trying to play nice for YouTube. The tip of the iceberg is that this woman is an abusive partner, an animal abuser, has taken every chance that she's gotten to exploit and manipulate her audience. Basically a person whose removal from YouTube is likely going to benefit all parties involved. And I think Amberlynn being demonetized is a positive change and hopefully a step in the right direction for YouTube, because I think a lot of the issues with her channel are things that have been needing to be addressed by YouTube for years. And those issues and how they affect YouTube are really the reason I wanted to make this video. But like I said before I started yapping about the greater implications of this for YouTube, we're going to take a look at a couple of moments from this live stream.
I have not uploaded an actual video in like half of a year. I've done just live streams. I have not talked about EDs. I have not really talked about my weight. I have not done anything like that. That's what my channel was for the longest time though. It was genuinely all of that type of stuff. But that was years ago. Mukbang, who is she? I haven't filmed one of those since I was with Feline. And then I got mass reported hard. Like it was crazy. I'm confused. Say you're driving, right? And you're driving on a road that goes 60 miles per hour. And then they realize, actually, no, I think this road should be 45. So you're going down it, 45. And then a cop pulls you over. And they're like, last month you were going 60 down this, so I'm going to give you a ticket. And you're like, but wait a minute. I was allowed to then, though. That's what it feels like to me.
Okay, so again, at first, I feel like this might sound kind of reasonable, but the way that she's presenting this is pretty misleading. So basically, if you don't know what she's talking about, YouTube updated their community guidelines, specifically those involving topics of self-harm, to cover eating disorders as well. And this policy change is what resulted in Amberlynn's content being demonetized. And the way she frames this, she makes it sound like, oh, well, I haven't made a video like that in 6 months, I've just been live streaming. And then she presents this scenario with the cop. It's like, yeah, that would be unfair, but that's not what happened here. This policy change went into effect in April of 2023, over a year and a half ago. So I mean, like, yeah, at some point YouTube probably has to put their foot down. She says she hasn't made a video in 6 months, which implies that she still was uploading that kind of content after the policy change, but even if she wasn't, those videos are still up. I feel like it's pretty fair for them to decide to stop paying you for something a year and a half after they deemed it not fit for monetization. Like, that is plenty of time to take a new direction with your channel. And even after you not doing anything with that year and a half, it's not like they were the ones removing your videos. You did that. And it's not like they banned you. They just demonetized you. You can reapply for monetization after 3 months. So she's trying to make this out to be this thing where she got like blindsided, but really she had plenty of notice. It just seems like she wanted to continue to profit off of that kind of content, even though she knew it was no longer allowed. Now, I will say, as a YouTuber, I have to step in and say that if other people don't start getting hit by this, then it's bullshit and she should be reinstated, because she is not the worst nor the most popular person who makes this kind of content. I mean, take Hungry Fat Chick, for example, who literally admits to making feeder fetish content here on YouTube and uploads 2 or 3 times a week doing the same shit that Amberlynn did, still fully monetized.
I can't go... I don't think many people would say you're at work and your boss comes up to you and says, I've decided I'm not going to pay you anymore. You can keep coming in, though. I don't think anyone would. I don't think anyone would. I understand I wasn't coming on here as frequently as I should have been or would have been, could have been, but I was still coming. Now I have to put that time and that energy into other things. I do. I have to give all of myself to something else. And I'm so sorry. Like, it genuinely hurts my fucking soul to say that. It really does. It really, really does. It really, really does. I have to go be a normal person now. a normal person.
Yeah, so, all that about it hurting your soul, I find that kind of hard to believe. Like we just established, it is a 3-month-long period where you can't reapply for monetization, and then as long as you change the things that you were demonetized for, there's really no reason for you to not get back into the YouTube Partner Program. I mean, YouTube likes to make money. Every channel they can add to the program is more money for them. It's not like they want to demonetize you, clearly. Far bigger YouTubers get away with far worse things. YouTube historically really only ever cracks down on stuff like this when they're kind of like legally forced to, and all that legal shit going on with Eugenia Cooney is probably a big part of this. If you would just change your content, you'd be fine. The reality of the situation here is that you obviously don't want to do YouTube unless you're allowed to continue to make this self-destructive content, so you're not willing to try anything else. If you're making videos and they can't be ones where you are eating yourself into an early grave, you don't want to be making them, and as much as I'd like to dunk on this lady for feeling that way, I don't know if we can really blame her. The reason I'm talking about Amberlynn after all these years is because I think this could be the start of a tremendously positive change for YouTube, but I can almost guarantee that it won't be. YouTube does this sort of thing all the time, where they make this big stance where they claim they're making all these positive changes to make YouTube a safer place, and really the only reason they're doing it is either 1, because of building legal pressure, or 2, because of legal pressure that's already built and they literally have no other choice. And even then, after they do all their forum posts and all the announcements on social media, they only ever take action on these new policies when it's shoved in their face like this. When a channel gets mass reported and they're like, oh well, fuck, I guess we've got to do something now. I would not be surprised whatsoever, and actually it's just what I expect, if not a single other mukbanger gets hit with anything even remotely close to this. And I think it's why YouTube has garnered this reputation of being such an unfair social media platform. People don't only violate the guidelines, they build their entire content strategy around doing so, and they're completely fine because their audience knows how to play by the rules, and they just don't report it. And I truly believe that if YouTube sees something violating the guidelines, as long as there's no reports, as long as there's no outrage about it, they just don't give a shit. I mean, you see this kind of shit all the time with the self-destructive behavior of all the lol cows on YouTube, other mukbangers doing the exact same shit that Amberlynn has been doing for years, all the porn that is everywhere on YouTube. I mean, you see stuff everywhere that is in blatant violation of the community guidelines, and since the people watching that shit are enjoying it, or because the audiences are more laid back and they don't report it, nothing happens. And it's like, really, what's even the point? What is the point of demonetizing one single channel out of a sea of thousands that do the exact same shit, if not worse, to a bigger audience? Like, you could say just take the win, and I mean, sure, yeah, I guess. I've been talking about how this kind of content doesn't really belong on YouTube in my opinion. It is not something they should be allowing people to make money off of for years. Been saying this shit since the first time I ever covered a mukbang on this channel, but I mean, like, when you do this, when you do what I know YouTube is gonna do, which is just demonetize Amberlynn and not another living soul, I feel like all you're really doing is calling attention to the fact that this kind of shit is not supposed to be allowed on YouTube, but since other audiences don't care as much, those creators are allowed to get away with it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like this is both a positive and a negative. You know, maybe it'll scare some people into not uploading bullshit like this onto YouTube anymore, but also I feel like this is sort of just strengthening this sort of relationship that we see so often on YouTube, where the audience just fucking hates the creator eggs it on, and a lot of times even deserves it, but nevertheless, it is a relationship between two parties, where it's just pure negativity back and forth between them until one of them wins out over the other. I feel like those relationships are things that YouTube should not really be playing into, and I feel like they do a lot, so I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about this. You tell me. Well, guys, what do you think? Like I said, I think it's good that this is happening at all. Like, I'm glad to see that YouTube is at least willing to enforce their guidelines at some level, even if they kind of have to be forced to. But at the end of the day, what are they really doing? Are all the other YouTubers who do the exact same shit that Amberlynn has done for years just somehow just not quite checking that box that she did? Or is YouTube doing what they've done many a time, and when a certain channel is brought into the spotlight or certain behavior from a certain person is talked about over and over again, they're like, okay, we get it, they're gone. And then they just hope that's enough to take attention away from all the other people doing it and making just as much, if not even more money. I know where my bet's at. I guess only time can tell though. We'll see. See ya.